Every manifestation video you've ever watched has given you a piece, a fragment, a single tool pulled from a system you were never shown in full. One video taught you visualization, another taught you gratitude, another told you to raise your vibration, another told you to let go, another told you to feel it as if it's already real. And you tried them. You tried all of them, separately, inconsistently, without understanding how they connect, why they work, or the specific order in which they must be applied for any of them to produce a result. And so you've spent months, maybe years, collecting fragments of a machine you've never seen assembled. You have the gears, you have the springs, you have the bolts, but nobody ever showed you the blueprint. Nobody ever said, here is the complete mechanism, start to finish, in the exact sequence reality requires. Until now. This is not another piece. This is the machine, the full architecture of no manifestation. From the initial signal your consciousness sends to the moment physical reality reorganizes in response. Not one technique, not one principle. The complete system, 7 stages, each one building on the one before it. Skip one, and the machine doesn't run. Complete all 7 in order, and you will understand why everything you've tried before produced inconsistent results, and why everything changes from here. Let's begin. Before you can build the machine, you need to understand why the parts you already have haven't been working. And the reason is not that the parts are broken. The reason is that you've been installing them in the wrong location. Every manifestation technique you've ever learned was designed to operate on a specific layer of your system. Visualization targets the mind. Emotional alignment targets the feeling body. Affirmations target the belief structure. Letting go targets the nervous system's grip response. Gratitude targets frequency. Each technique works, but only when it's applied to the correct layer, in the correct sequence, after the layers beneath it have been prepared. What every other video has done is hand you a technique and say, do this, without telling you which layer it operates on, without preparing the layers beneath it, without sequencing it within the larger architecture. That's like handing someone a carburetor and saying, install this, without mentioning that the engine block needs to exist first. The result is predictable. The technique works sometimes, on days when, by accident, the lower layers happen to be aligned. And it fails other times, on days when the lower layers are in contradiction. And because you don't know which layers are which, the success feels random, lucky, unreliable. And over time, you start to believe that manifestation itself is unreliable, that it works for some people but not for you, that you're missing something. You are missing something. You're missing the architecture. The 7 stages are that architecture. They move from the deepest layer of the system to the surface, from the foundation that must be laid first to the final action that produces the visible result. And when they're followed in sequence, the randomness disappears. The technique stops being a gamble and becomes a mechanism. Reliable, repeatable, precise. The first one begins where you'd least expect it. Stage 1 is called the clearing, and it is the stage that 90% of manifestation teaching skips entirely, which is why 90% of manifestation attempts produce either nothing or a distorted version of what was intended. Before you send any signal to reality, you must clear the signals that are already being sent. Here's what most people don't understand. You are not approaching manifestation from a neutral starting position. You are not a blank transmitter waiting to broadcast your first signal. You have been transmitting since childhood. Every belief you inherited from your family, every conclusion you drew from your early experiences, every emotional pattern that was encoded into your nervous system before you were old enough to choose it, every cultural assumption about what is and isn't possible for someone like you. All of it is broadcasting. Right now. Continuously. On frequencies you're not even aware of. You don't manifest from intention. You manifest from the total signal. And the total signal includes every unconscious broadcast that's been running on autopilot since you were 4 years old. This is why you can sit down, set a beautiful intention for abundance, feel it in your body, believe it with your whole heart, and produce nothing. Because underneath that 10-minute intention is a 20-year-old broadcast that says, money is dangerous, money causes conflict, people who want money are selfish, there's never enough. Your intention is a whisper, your programming is a scream, and reality responds to the louder signal. The clearing is not about positive thinking. It's not about overriding the old signals with new ones. That's what affirmations attempt to do, and it's why they fail when used prematurely. You cannot out-affirm a nervous system that is encoding the opposite of what your mouth is saying. The body will always be louder than the words. The clearing is about making the unconscious signals conscious, seeing them, naming them, understanding where they came from and why they were installed, not to analyze them endlessly, but to strip them of the one thing that gives them power, invisibility. A signal you can't see runs your life. A signal you can see becomes a choice. Here's the practice. There are 3 layers of clearing, and each one targets a different source of interference. The first layer is inherited beliefs. These are the conclusions about reality that were passed to you by your family, not through lectures, but through energy, through behavior, through the emotional atmosphere of your household. Complete this sentence for each major area of your life: money, love, health, success, self-expression. In my family, the unspoken rule about this area was, let the answer come from your gut, not your head. In my family, the unspoken rule about money was, you work hard, you get by, and you don't ask for more. In my family, the unspoken rule about love was, it's conditional, it's earned through sacrifice, and it can be withdrawn at any time. Those sentences are active signals. They have been transmitting for decades, and until you see them, until you hold them up and recognize that they are inherited code, not universal truth, they will override every intention you set. The second layer is experiential conclusions. These are the beliefs you built from your own past, from failures, rejections, betrayals, and losses that your psyche converted into operating rules. The last time I reached for something big, I was humiliated. Conclusion: reaching is dangerous. The last time I trusted someone completely, I was destroyed. Conclusion: trust is a trap. Every time I start to succeed, something goes wrong. Conclusion: success isn't safe for me. These aren't beliefs you chose. They're conclusions your nervous system drew to protect you from repeating painful experiences. And they are brilliant survival mechanisms for a child. For an adult trying to manifest a life beyond survival, they are the primary obstruction. The third layer is identity broadcasts. This is the deepest interference. It's not what you believe about life. It's what you believe about yourself. I am fundamentally not enough. I am someone things don't work out for. I am the kind of person who gets close, but never arrives. These identity signals are the most powerful broadcasts in your system. They override everything, because reality doesn't give you what you want. Reality gives you what matches the signal of who you are. And if who you are is someone things don't work out for, then reality will rearrange itself around that identity with absolute precision. The clearing is the process of surfacing all 3 layers: inherited beliefs, experiential conclusions, and identity broadcasts, and making them visible. You write them down, all of them, without judgment, without trying to fix them, just seeing them, because the moment you can see the signal loses its autonomy. It stops being invisible code and becomes a sentence on a piece of paper. And a sentence on a piece of paper is something you can choose to keep or discard. You are not trying to clear everything in one sitting. You're creating a map of the interference field. And once you have the map, you know exactly what's been distorting every manifestation you've ever attempted. That map is the foundation. Without it, every stage that follows is built on contaminated ground. Stage 1 is the excavation. Stage 2 is what you build on the cleared ground. And it is the stage where most people start, which is exactly why they fail. Because starting here, without stage 1, is like broadcasting from a broken transmitter. The signal goes out garbled, and reality delivers a garbled result. But if you've done the clearing, if the interference patterns have been made conscious and their autonomy has been weakened, then stage 2 becomes the single most important transmission of your life. Stage 2 is called the signal. Define what you are manifesting with a precision that leaves no room for misinterpretation. The universe does not respond to vague wanting. It responds to clear signal. And most people's manifestation attempts are extraordinarily vague, not because they're lazy, but because clarity requires a confrontation they've been avoiding. Here's what I mean. Ask someone what they want to manifest, and they'll say, "I want abundance. I want love. I want freedom." Those are not signals. Those are categories. They're like walking into a restaurant, sitting down, and telling the waiter, "I want food." The kitchen doesn't know what to make, and the universe receiving a signal that says abundance without specification doesn't know what to deliver. So it delivers the default, which is whatever your unconscious programming defined as abundance long before you started manifesting intentionally. For most people, that default is modest, safe, underwhelming, not because the universe is stingy, because the signal was unspecific, and unspecific signals get filled in by the unconscious. But the vagueness isn't accidental, it's protective, because getting specific about what you want requires admitting what you want, fully, without hedging, without the safety of ambiguity, and that admission triggers every interference signal from stage 1. "I want to earn $300,000 a year," triggers. "Who do you think you are?" "I want a partner who is emotionally available, intellectually stimulating, and deeply attracted to me," triggers. "You don't deserve all three." "I want to build something that reaches millions of people and changes how they think," triggers. That's delusional. Vagueness is armor. It protects you from the vulnerability of wanting something specific, because specific desires can fail specifically. If you want abundance and don't get it, the failure is soft, diffused, deniable. If you want $300,000 and earn $45,000, the failure is precise and painful. The signal requires you to drop the armor, to get specific enough that you're exposed, to name the reality you're calling in with the kind of detail that makes your stomach clench, because the clenching is the old interference activating, which means you're close to a real signal. Here's how to construct the signal with the precision reality requires. For each area of your life where you're manifesting change, answer 4 questions. First, what specifically do I want? Not the category, the specification, not financial abundance, but a net income of $250,000 annually from work that energizes me. Not love, but a committed partnership with a person who is emotionally mature, physically affectionate, intellectually curious, and who makes me laugh until I can't breathe. The more specific, the more your system resists. The more your system resists, the closer you are to the real desire you've been hiding behind vagueness. Second, what does it feel like to have this? This is not visualization yet. This is frequency identification. When you imagine already having this specific reality, what is the emotional tone? Is it relief? Is it excitement? Is it peace? Is it a deep, settled certainty? Identify the feeling with precision, because the feeling is the actual frequency you'll be broadcasting. The specifics tell the universe what. The feeling tells it where to find the matching reality. Third, who do I have to be for this to be my normal Tuesday? This is the question that bridges wanting to identity, because reality doesn't deliver experiences to people who want them. It delivers experiences to people who match them. The person who earns $250,000 from energizing work, how do they think? How do they make decisions? How do they carry themselves? How do they respond to setbacks? What is their relationship with their own value? The answer to this question is the identity blueprint, and it's the bridge from stage 2 into everything that follows. Fourth, am I willing to have this even if it means my current life has to change? This is the question most people skip, because the answer reveals whether you're manifesting with permission or manifesting with a leash. Most people want the new reality, but aren't willing to release the old one. They want abundance and the comfort of their current limitations. They want deep love and the safety of emotional unavailability. They want freedom and the security of the cage they've been living in. The universe cannot deliver what you won't make room for. And this question, am I willing, tells you whether there's actually room. If the answer is yes with a flinch, you know where the remaining work is. If the answer is yes with your whole body, the signal is clean. Write it down, all 4 answers, for every area. This document is not a vision board. It's a transmission protocol. It's the precise, detailed, frequency-matched signal that you're going to feed into the remaining 5 stages of the machine. Without this document, everything that follows is unfocused. With it, everything that follows is aimed. Stage 2 constructs the signal. Stage 3 is where this process separates permanently from everything else in the manifestation space. Stage 3 is called the encoding, because Stage 3 targets the layer that every technique brushes against, but almost none directly address. And what it does is this. It takes the signal you designed in Stage 2 and installs it into your nervous system, the only transmitter that reality reads. Encode the manifestation not into your thoughts, but into your body. Make it somatically real. Here's the truth about manifestation that should have been obvious from the beginning, but has been obscured by an entire industry built around mental techniques. The universe does not respond to your thoughts. It does not respond to your words. It does not respond to your affirmations, your journal entries, your vision boards, or your mental movies. Those are all cognitive events. They happen in the 5% of your system that processes language and concepts. The universe responds to the other 95%. Your nervous system's state, your hormonal signature, your heart's electromagnetic field, your muscle tension patterns, the depth of your breath, the dilation of your pupils, the subtle orientation of your body in space. All of that is data. All of that is signal. And it is vastly, incomparably, louder than any thought you've ever had. This is why 2 people can recite the same affirmation and get opposite results. One person says, I am abundant, and their body is open, their breathing is deep, their chest is expanded, and their nervous system is broadcasting safety and receiving. The affirmation and the body match. The signal is coherent. Reality responds. The other person says, I am abundant, and their jaw is clenched. Their shoulders are up around their ears, their breathing is shallow, and their nervous system is broadcasting threat and scarcity. The words say abundance. The body says survival. 2 signals. Reality reads the louder one, and the body is always louder. The encoding is the process of making your body the carrier of the signal, not your mind. When your body carries it, the transmission is continuous, automatic, and doesn't require you to hold the thought. Your nervous system broadcasts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without effort. Once the signal is installed there, you don't need to remember to manifest. Your body is doing it for you, every moment. Here's the practice. And I need you to understand, this is not meditation. This is not relaxation. This is neurological installation. The precision matters. Sit or lie down in silence. Close your eyes. Begin by regulating your nervous system. Slow your breathing to approximately 6 breaths per minute. This isn't arbitrary. At 6 breaths per minute, heart rate variability increases, vagal tone activates, and the nervous system shifts from sympathetic dominance to parasympathetic openness. You are switching the transmitter from survival mode to receiving mode. This takes 2 to 3 minutes. Once your body is regulated, once you can feel the shift from tight to open, from shallow to deep, bring the signal into the body, not as a mental image, as a physical experience. Do not visualize your desired reality from the outside, like watching a movie. Drop inside it. Inhabit it. Feel the specific sensations that would be present in your body. if this reality were already your Tuesday? What does the chair feel like under you in the life where you earn $250,000 from work that energizes you? What texture is against your skin? What is the temperature of the room? What is the quality of ease in your chest when money is not a problem? What does your jaw feel like when it's fully relaxed because the old tension is gone? What do your hands feel like when they're the hands of a person who creates freely and is compensated abundantly? Don't narrate. The moment you start describing the experience in words, you've pulled it back into the cognitive layer. Drop beneath words. Stay in pure sensation. Let the body have the experience without the mind commenting on it. Hold this. Stay inside it. Not for 30 seconds. Not for 2 minutes. Stay until the body does something involuntary. A deep, spontaneous exhale. A muscle that suddenly releases. Tears forming without sadness. A wave of warmth spreading through the chest or hands. A tingling sensation. A twitch. That involuntary response is the installation point. It means the signal has bypassed the cognitive layer and reached the nervous system directly. Before that response, you were imagining. After that response, you were encoding. And encoded signals broadcast automatically. They don't require effort, repetition, or remembering. They run on their own, the way your current self-image runs on its own, silently, continuously, shaping everything. Perform the encoding once daily. The window between waking and full alertness is ideal. The conscious mind is still thin, the subconscious is exposed, and the encoding reaches deeper with less resistance. Over time, days, not months, you'll notice the encoded signal starts to feel more real than your current circumstances. Your body begins to carry the frequency of the new reality as its default state. And that's when the universe starts reading a different transmission. Stage 3 installs the signal, and the next stage is the one that changes everything. Stage 4 is called the inversion. And I need to be very precise about what this stage is, because it is the most misunderstood concept in all of manifestation, and it is the mechanism without which the other 6 stages produce nothing. Reality does not create your state. Your state creates your reality. And the mechanism of manifestation requires you to invert the order, to produce the internal state before the external evidence, not after. Every human being on Earth operates under the same default assumption. Circumstances determine feelings. Something good happens, you feel good. Something bad happens, you feel bad. You receive the evidence, and then you produce the corresponding internal state. Evidence first, state second. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. That's how everyone around you operates. And it is the exact inversion of how manifestation operates. Manifestation works in the opposite direction. State first, evidence second. You produce the internal state, the full nervous system encoded experience of the reality you're creating. And then, reality reorganizes to produce the corresponding evidence. Here's why this is not delusion and not magical thinking. Here's the mechanics. Your nervous system broadcasts a continuous signal. That signal is being read by your own reticular activating system, which filters what you perceive, by the people around you, whose nervous systems read your nervous system constantly, by the decisions you make, which are shaped by your state more than by your logic, and by the probabilistic field of reality, which, as quantum physics has demonstrated, responds to the observer's engagement. When your state changes, all 4 of those response systems change simultaneously. Your perception shifts. You literally see opportunities and connections you were filtering out before. Other people respond to you differently because the signal you're broadcasting has changed and their systems are reading the new signal. Your decisions change because decisions made from abundance differ structurally from decisions made from lack. And the field responds because you're collapsing different possibilities through a different observation point. This isn't one mechanism. It's 4 mechanisms operating in concert, and all 4 activate when, and only when, the internal state shifts before the external evidence confirms it. This is what every other video was trying to tell you when it said, feel it before you have it, or act as if, or live from the end. They were describing stage 4, but they didn't explain the mechanics. So it sounded like pretending, like self-deception, like closing your eyes and making believe. It's not pretending. It's operating the machine in the correct direction. The machine was designed to run state first, evidence second. You've been running it backwards your entire life, waiting for evidence before allowing yourself to shift state, and then wondering why nothing changes. Of course nothing changes. You've been waiting for the output before providing the input. The inversion is providing the input first. It's waking up and producing the nervous system state of the person who already has what you're manifesting. Not because you're ignoring reality, but because you understand that the reality you're looking at right now is the printout of yesterday's state. It's old data. It's the output of last month's signal, last year's identity, last decade's programming. It's not the future. It's the past, still being displayed. The inversion is choosing to broadcast from the future while standing in the past. And the discomfort of that choice, the cognitive dissonance of feeling abundant while looking at a bank account that says otherwise, is not a sign that it's not working. It's the friction between two realities. The old one that's still displayed and the new one that's being written. That friction is the sound of the mechanism operating correctly. Here's the practice. Every morning, after the encoding, before you open your phone, before you check your email, before you look at any evidence from your current reality, spend 5 minutes living in the inversion. Stand up, move your body the way the person in the new reality moves, not dramatically, subtly. How do they stand? Not hunched, not contracted, not bracing for impact. Open, grounded, settled into their own weight with the ease of someone who is not fighting for survival. Breathe the way they breathe. Not the shallow, chest-only breathing of someone managing anxiety. Deep, slow, belly-expanding breathing of someone whose nervous system knows everything is handled. Feel what they feel in their chest. Not hope. Hope is the feeling of someone who doesn't have it yet. Certainty. The quiet, boring Tuesday morning certainty of someone who already has it. There's no excitement in it, because there's no surprise. It's just their life. It's just how things are. Hold this for 5 minutes, and then enter your day from this state, not abandoning it the moment your phone delivers contradictory evidence, carrying it like an internal atmosphere that doesn't shift based on weather. This is the hardest stage, not conceptually, experientially, because the gap between the internal state you're holding and the external evidence you're seeing will generate intense dissonance. Your mind will scream, "This is fake. Look around you. Nothing has changed. You're lying to yourself." That scream is not your intuition. It is the old programming defending its territory. It is the previous signal fighting to maintain dominance. And it is loudest in the moments right before the new signal takes hold. The people who can hold the inversion through the dissonance are the people who manifest. The people who collapse back to evidence-based emotional responses are the people who stay stuck. Not because they're weak, because they don't understand that the dissonance is the mechanism working, not the mechanism breaking. Stage 4 is the engine of the machine. Without it, nothing else produces a result. With it, everything else accelerates. And now, having installed the inversion, you're ready for the stage that most manifestation teaching doesn't even know exists. Stage 5 is called the purge. And it is the stage that explains why manifestation often feels like it's making your life worse before it makes it better. When the new signal activates, reality doesn't gently rearrange. It dismantles what contradicts the new signal first. And that dismantling feels like destruction. Nobody tells you this. Every manifestation video shows the process as set intention, align energy, receive result. A smooth, pleasant, ascending curve from wanting to having. That is a fantasy. The actual process, the one that works, the one that produces real, lasting structural change, includes a phase of destruction. And if you don't understand it, You will interpret the destruction as evidence that the manifestation failed. You will panic. You will abandon the inversion. You will retreat to the old signal, and the old reality will re-solidify, seemingly proving that manifestation doesn't work. Here's what actually happens. When your total signal changes, when the encoded nervous system broadcast shifts from the old frequency to the new one, reality begins responding to the new signal. But the first thing it has to do is clear the structures that were built by the old signal, the job that matches the old identity, the relationship dynamic that matches the old self-image, the financial pattern that matches the old money story, the social circle that reinforced the old frequency. Those structures are not going to quietly step aside. They are going to intensify, destabilize, and in some cases collapse. Not because the universe is punishing you, because those structures cannot exist at the new frequency. They were built to match the old signal. And when the signal changes, they become unstable. The way a building designed for one set of specifications becomes unstable when the ground shifts. This looks like the relationship that was barely working suddenly becomes intolerable. The job you were enduring becomes suddenly unbearable. The friendship that was comfortable suddenly reveals itself as draining. The financial pattern that was stable suddenly disrupts. The health issue you were managing suddenly demands attention. From the outside, and from the perspective of your panicking mind, it looks like everything is falling apart. From the perspective of the mechanism, everything is reorganizing. The demolition crew arrived because you ordered a new building, and the demolition always comes before the construction. The purge is not something you do. It's something you navigate. And navigating it requires exactly one thing: holding the inversion while the demolition is happening. Not collapsing back to the old state because the evidence got worse. Not interpreting the chaos as failure. Understanding, in your body, not just your mind, that the chaos is the transition. That the old reality is breaking down specifically because the new signal was received. Here's how to navigate the purge without losing the signal. First, expect it. Knowing it's coming removes 70% of its power. When the disruption arrives, you recognize it. This is the purge. The old structures are destabilizing because my signal changed. This is not failure. This is phase-accurate progress. Second, don't fix it. The instinct during the purge is to frantically repair whatever is breaking, patch the relationship, stabilize the finances, smooth over the conflict, resist. Not because those things don't matter, because repairing old structures that were built for the old signal is rebuilding the old reality. You are literally reconstructing the thing you asked to leave. Let what needs to break, break. Not recklessly, but with the understanding that not everything in your current life belongs in your next life. Third, increase the encoding. When the purge is at its most intense, your nervous system will be desperate to return to the familiar state, the one that matches the old reality. This is when the encoding practice matters most. Double your session, deepen the somatic experience, reinforce the new signal at the body level so that it holds through the storm. The purge typically lasts days to weeks, not months. The intensity peaks and then, often suddenly, clears. And what emerges on the other side is space, open, cleared, available space where the old structures used to be. That space is not emptiness. It's the construction site for the new reality. Stage 5 clears the ground. Stage 6, the stage where most people quit, is where the new reality begins to assemble, and it requires the one thing most people are worst at. Stage 6 is called the void, and it is the most dangerous stage in the entire process. Not because anything bad happens, because nothing happens. And nothing is the one thing the human psyche cannot tolerate. Between the destruction of the old reality and the arrival of the new one, there is a gap, a period of apparent emptiness where the old is gone, but the new has not yet materialized. This gap is not a mistake. It is the most critical phase of the entire manifestation process. The purge cleared the ground. The old structures are down. Space exists where they used to be. And now, from the perspective of your five senses, nothing is happening. No new opportunities, no dramatic signs, no cascading synchronicities, just silence. And the silence is terrifying. Because in the silence, every fear you've ever had about being delusional gets a megaphone. You destroyed your old life for nothing. The manifestation isn't working. You were wrong. You're going to end up with less than you started with. Everyone who warned you was right. Those voices are not insights. They are the final test of the inversion. The void is the space where reality is being written. But the writing is happening beneath the surface, invisible to your conscious mind, like a seed underground. From above, the soil looks empty. Nothing appears to be happening. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, structures are organizing, and the blueprint is being translated into physical form. The mistake, the one that destroys more manifestations than any other single error, is reaching down, digging up the seed, and inspecting it to see if it's growing. The moment you do that, you kill it. In practical terms, digging up the seed looks like obsessively checking for evidence, asking the universe for signs, constantly evaluating whether it's working, testing the manifestation by looking for proof, telling people about it, engaging their reactions, losing patience and reverting to old behaviors because the new reality hasn't shown up on your timeline. Every single one of those actions is a signal that says, I don't actually believe this is happening. And that signal contradicts the inversion. It collapses the new state and reinstalls the old frequency. And reality, receiving the old frequency again, stops constructing the new pattern and returns to the default. The void requires faith, not religious faith, mechanical faith, the understanding that the machine has a processing time, that the seed has a germination period, that the space between transmission and reception is not emptiness, it's construction, and the construction cannot be hurried by watching it. Here's the practice for surviving the void. And I use the word surviving deliberately, because the void is the phase where the ego experiences something very close to death. First, maintain the encoding and the inversion exactly as before. Do not reduce the practice because nothing is happening. The signal must remain strong during construction, or the construction stalls. The building doesn't stop needing blueprints just because the foundation is poured. Second, redirect your attention entirely away from the manifestation. This sounds counterintuitive. You've been told to focus on what you want. And in stages 2 through 4, that's correct. But in the void, focus becomes surveillance. And surveillance communicates doubt. In the void, the practice is to release the desire into the mechanism and then live your life, fully, not waiting, living, as though the manifestation is so certain that it doesn't require your attention. The way you don't monitor your heartbeat because you trust it's happening without your supervision. Third, when the panic comes, and it will come, sit with it. Don't argue with it. Don't affirm over it. Just let it pass through your body like weather. Notice it. Name it. This is the void panic. This is the ego responding to the absence of control. This is not information about whether the manifestation is working. This is information about my tolerance for uncertainty. That naming, that simple act of labeling the panic as a process rather than a prophecy, prevents it from collapsing. The inversion. The void is where manifestations are won or lost, not in the technique, not in the visualization, not in the belief work, in the willingness to hold the signal during the silence, in the capacity to trust the mechanism when the mechanism is invisible. Most people can't do it. They need evidence too badly. They need to see it working before they'll let it work. And that need, the need for evidence before faith, is the exact reversal of the mechanism. It's running the machine backwards. Again, Still, stage 6 separates the people who manifest once from the people who manifest consistently. The consistent manifestors are not more gifted. They're more patient. They understand the void, and they let it complete. When the void completes, and it does complete always, when the signal is maintained, stage 7 begins. The final stage, the one where you stop believing and start receiving. Stage 7 is called the materialization, and unlike the other 6 stages, this one does not require a technique. It requires something far harder. Receiving. When reality begins delivering the manifestation, your only job is to let it in, without flinching, without deflecting, without self-sabotaging at the finish line. Here's what happens when the mechanism completes. The signal was cleared in stage 1, defined in stage 2, encoded in stage 3, inverted in stage 4, purged in stage 5, held through silence in stage 6. And now, the field responds. The new reality begins to materialize. It does not arrive all at once. It arrives in a cascade. First, small anomalies. A conversation that contains impossible specificity. Someone saying the exact thing you need to hear without knowing they're saying it. A resource appearing at the precise moment it's required. A door opening that you didn't knock on. These are not coincidences. These are the first visible threads of the pattern that's been forming beneath the surface. Then, larger alignments. An opportunity that matches your signal with suspicious precision. A connection that links directly to what you've been encoding. A circumstance that would have been impossible to engineer but arrived as though it were orchestrated. And then, the manifestation itself. Not always in the form you pictured, often in a form that exceeds what you imagined. Because the mechanism operates with access to information your conscious mind doesn't have. The field found the optimal expression of your signal, and the optimal expression frequently surprises the one who sent the signal. This is where most people expect the video to end. The manifestation arrives, credits roll, but this is not where the machine breaks down most often. The machine breaks down here, at the moment of receiving. Because receiving activates the deepest layer of the old programming, the belief that you don't deserve it. Watch what happens when reality delivers what someone has been asking for. They deflect, they minimize, they find something wrong with it, they delay accepting it. They tell themselves it's too good to be true. They unconsciously introduce behaviors that push it away, picking a fight with the new partner, undermining the new opportunity, spending the new money recklessly, sabotaging the new success with old patterns. This is not bad behavior. This is the old self-image making its last stand. The identity that said, I am someone who doesn't get what they want, the one you burned in stage 5, left residue. And that residue activates at the moment of receiving like an autoimmune response. The system treats the new reality as a foreign body, something that doesn't belong, and it mounts a defense. The practice for stage 7 is aggressive receiving. Every time the manifestation delivers a piece, no matter how small, you receive it fully. You don't deflect it. You don't minimize it. You don't question whether you deserve it. You take it in. You let it land. You say yes with your whole body, and you feel the receiving in your nervous system. When a compliment arrives that matches the new reality, receive it. Don't wave it away. Take it in. When an opportunity appears that feels too good, receive it. Don't sabotage it with unworthiness. Step into it. When the relationship, the money, the health, the creative success begins to materialize, receive it. Without guilt. Without the compulsive need to give it away, undermine it, or prove that you don't actually deserve it. Every act of receiving reinforces the new signal. Every act of deflecting reinforces the old one. And at stage 7, after all the work of the previous 6 stages, the difference between full manifestation and a near miss is determined by your willingness to actually take what you asked for. The final instruction is this: when the manifestation arrives, do not immediately begin manifesting the next thing. Stay in the receiving. Let the new reality establish itself. Let the new identity solidify. Let the nervous system update its baseline to include this level of having. If you rush past the receiving and immediately set a new intention, you train your system that having is just a waypoint to wanting, and the dominant frequency becomes wanting, not having. Stay in having, for as long as it takes to become your new normal. Let me give you the complete machine, assembled. Stage 1, the clearing. Surface the inherited beliefs, experiential conclusions, and identity broadcasts that are currently transmitting interference. Make the unconscious signals conscious. A signal you can see is a signal you can choose. Stage 2, the signal. Define what you're manifesting with architectural precision, not vague categories. Specific, detailed, frequency-matched specifications. Answer: what specifically do I want? What does it feel like? Who do I have to be? And am I willing to let my current life change to have it? Stage 3, the encoding. Install the signal into the nervous system through somatic immersion, not visualization, inhabitation. Drop inside the reality until the body responds involuntarily. Once encoded, the signal broadcasts automatically. Stage 4, the inversion. Produce the internal state before the external evidence. Stop running the machine backwards. State first, evidence second. Hold the frequency through the dissonance. The dissonance is the mechanism working. Stage 5, the purge. Expect the old reality to destabilize. Do not repair structures that were built for the old signal. Hold the inversion through the demolition. The destruction is construction beginning. Stage 6, the void. Between the old and the new, there is silence. Do not dig up the seed. Maintain the signal, redirect your attention, and let the mechanism complete. The silence is not emptiness, it is gestation. Stage 7, the materialization. When reality delivers, receive it, fully, without deflecting, minimizing, or self-sabotaging. Every act of receiving reinforces the new signal. Stay in having until having becomes your baseline. This is why your affirmations worked sometimes and not others. You were applying stage 3 without stages 1 and 2, and the signal was contaminated. This is why acting as if felt hollow. You were attempting stage 4 without stage 3, so the body wasn't carrying the signal and the mind was performing without support. This is why everything seemed to fall apart right when you started making progress. That was stage 5. And nobody told you it was supposed to happen. This is why you gave up during the waiting. That was stage 6, and you interpreted the silence as failure instead of gestation. This is why you got close to what you wanted and then lost it. That was stage 7, and the old identity deflected what you'd spent months calling in. Every fragment you collected, every technique, every principle, every practice from every video you ever watched has a place in this machine. You always had the parts. Now you have the blueprint.